A few days ago, I was compressing anime, and since I was dedicating most of my CPU to that, I genuinely, wasn't sure what to do. The autism and the ADHD kind of, makes it annoying for me to even try to sit still. There we go. Nice. Originally I was reading light novels, but then I had to, kick. Yeah, I guess I gotta do something with you, don't I? Yeah, fuck it. I'm nowhere near the resident board cap anyway. Let's see. Nothing much. I originally was reading light novels, but I was still too fidgety. I had to at least do something with my hands, and one of the options was a fidget toy, and God, it sounds kind of lame when I say it out loud, but I decided, fuck it. There was something on my mind. So I opened up a text document and I titled it My Ideal Game. And I started thinking about what kind of games fit that mold. What games provided systems and content that I particularly adored that made me decide, yeah, this is my ideal game. And this is partly my ideal game. Well, this game came up in my mind. This game came to mind. And but so another one, and I'm going to talk about that one first. The game that came to mind, the other game that came to mind besides this was Monster Girl Quest Paradox. I want you to bear with me here. Yeah, I think that's one I don't have. You start to eat bait. Oh, right, because it has that ridiculous auto-feed thing. I think I should turn that off. Let's go to the castle. Oh, wait, right. A particular thing about Monster Quest Paradox is it is the most ambitious, I have to admit, RPG Maker game I think ever made. It is also very extensive, having several hundred recruitable characters. But the thing is, you can easily the particular thing is you can easily break these characters down into into a select few things. And that is a set of character portraits, a character still, and if they have a sex scene, which 90% of the characters in the game do, that you can recruit, a character CG, and a trait. And the trait is the primary, really the only truly static thing about these characters when it comes to their combat abilities. In fact, I would say, unless I'm remembering incorrectly, I do think there might also be differentiations in stat growth on level up across the characters, but I don't know if I am just remembering wrong or not. But the trait is the main defining thing. And the trait will be something as... Early on, the trait will be something as simple as... this character can always use mace skills and deals plus 25% damage with them. Simple shit like that. The main character, I vaguely remember what his trait was. And it was kind of simple. By the end game, it was pretty fucking simple. But... And I don't remember if it underwent any changes or not. But early on, it was actually one of the more complex ones you would get. And it was literally something like... this character can always equip swords... No, I think it was... this character can always use sword, axe, spear, and something else. Skills. This character can always use holy and heroism skills. This character deals more damage with heroism skills based on missing HP. I think it was something like that. And it's very simple. It's something very simple, but at the same time, for the immediate start of the game, it was something pretty fucking good. Again, I don't remember if it changes as the game goes, but some characters do get like different forms, changes to their traits, but that trait is the main thing. The game actually has a very extensive race and job system. And to get this one out of the way, the race system is at first very limiting. A Lamia cannot become a succubus. A wyvern cannot become a mermaid. I forget if there was a wyvern race or not, actually. I think I might have been thinking of harpy. I don't remember. I think I'm thinking of harpy, yeah. Yeah. Because there's a few different beast races as well. I know there's like land dweller and sea dweller. Without saying too much about the game, it has an extensive system. But but like I said, races are restrictive at first. Did I gain... Did I gain another level in taming yet? Or... No, I have not. However, as long as you had the key items for unlocking them, any character could become any job. This actually resulted in a couple of things. Initially, the game was released in parts 1 and 2, with part 3 being in the works for the longest time, and I played the shit out of part 2. The crazy thing was, I thought I was prepared. I thought I was prepared going into part 3. I was not. I fucking was not. I had all my characters planned out and everything. Turned out there was so much shit you could do. and so many more characters you could get that I was just blown away. There's a lot of races and a lot of job classes. There's dozens across 4 or 5 tiers. I forget exactly how many tiers there were, but one of the two. And as long as you met the prerequisite, anyone could become any job. This would result in stuff like early on, I would be training the main character and a few specific characters I really cared about in being a bunch of different jobs. And the game has 3 different layers of XP. You have character XP, which is level, job XP, which is the job, and race XP, which is the race. So I'd be mastering all these jobs as the characters I cared about, and this would result in them becoming so high-leveled that I'd get to points in the game that would tell me, okay, that are designed to tell the player, okay, there's another thing here you can do, but you might want to come back later when you're stronger, and I'll just immediately do it and steamroll it. Because my characters were so high level for where I should have been in the game. Grinding becomes a massive chore by a certain point, especially by the end game, but there's ways around that. And one particular thing is, as you progress through the game, you do gradually, though this is through a ton of optional shit on top of the story, unlock the ability to change certain races to certain other races, eventually making a full circle. This even goes into the post-game, with post-game jobs and post-game races being available, and I'm gonna be entirely fucking honest. I mastered the main character in every job and race up to the end of the game. And, I ended up one-shotting every phase of the fucking final boss. And I need to explain this. This is a game... The post-game isn't implemented yet. We're still waiting on that. This is a game where the final boss is de facto the strongest thing you're gonna fight at the moment. I kind of felt, like I fucked myself over out of what was supposed to be a really climactic fight. Years of writing in the making by Toro. But oh well. In the end, I was really satisfied with it. Wait a minute, was that? Yep. And there was a little bit of post-game stuff, just a little bit, a few things you could unlock. A few things you could do and unlock in the post-game, particularly for, I think it was like just a couple of post-game races and job classes you could unlock. There's more eventually coming, but yeah. And I mastered him in that too, and... Alright, I got what I wanted to get from the raffles, so... And eventually I started mastering a bunch of characters. It wasn't just the main character. By the end of the game, I was mastering a bunch of characters and a bunch of different stuff. That, not everything like I was doing the main character, just stuff that I wanted him to be in. I got into this almost role-play kind of mentality of like, I want these, the main character is the one I give everything, but I want these specific characters to have these specific jobs, these specific races that fit them. I guess to give an example, one of my few dozen top favorite characters out of several hundred, mind you, that you could recruit was actually a male character. It was this older man who looked very gentlemanly, kind of presented himself almost like a butler, and in fact, he was basically almost acting like a butler of sorts to another character I really like that went into my favorite few dozen. And his entire shtick, literally his trait, I believe, was literally called Skilled Magical Swordsman. And the idea was that his trait made him built for, the trait fits the character's race, their skill set, the trait is basically the character's personality in a way, outside of the writing itself. In this case, it was like he could always use swords, and he could always equip swords and magic swords. He can always use spell blade attacks, sword skills and spell blade skills. I forget the specifics of Spellblade. I know Spellblade had some good stuff. I forget if it fell off or not by the in way of other stuff by the end of the game. I don't remember. I think, if I remember correctly, Torotoro gave literally every job, class, and race, job and race a lot of love, even up to the end of the game. So I think it had some good stuff. I forget. But I forget what that was. But the point is, he was a guy who was focused on swords and magic swords. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna raise this guy in literally every job that has to do with swords and spellblade shit. And he's also, I think it was also that he could always use black magic, I think, but I forget if that was in his trade or not. So I was like, okay, I'm also going to raise him in every job that has to do with magic. He had, without giving too much specifics, magic did branch off a lot into different categories. And then... by a certain point, I unlocked the psychic job. The line of psychic jobs. And so I'm like, okay, I want to train him in that. And by the end of the game, I had this guy mastering a bunch of shit. By the end of the game, I had this guy mastering a bunch of shit. And, I specifically equipped him with an ability. And I'll get to that in a minute. I specifically equipped him with an ability, the triple wield ability. You can normally only wield one weapon and a shield, but you can get dual wield, which lets you dual wield weapons. And if you get triple wield, you can equip a weapon in the first of your 2 accessory slots instead of an accessory. I also did a... Without saying too much more than I already am. I also did a... for example, I did a few end-game quests that are pretty extensive, and the reward for them is a unique end-game magic sword for each of them. And then I crafted another really good in-game magic sword that you have to go through a lot of shit to be able to craft. And I gave him all 3 of these weapons. And in my head, because it's an RPG Maker game, I'm using my imagination. I'm thinking, okay, the way I picture it is he's not even wielding the swords with his hands or anything else. He is using, like, psychokinesis to He's using psychokinesis to basically you attack with have the swords like hover around him and attack with them while he blasts enemies with magic. And he still uses his sword skills using psychokinesis. Stuff like that. I picture this kind of shit in my head, and I know it might for a guy like me, it's you know I feel like you're never too old to use your imagination. Is the way I see it. And this gave me a lot of... I got to use my imagination a lot with this game. Made of hide. A stone made of hide. Yeah, I'll take it. And... oh, for fuck's sake. Alright, what do we get? Stone bed, small metal, platinum scimitar, crystal claymore, kind of dog shit. Good job. Yeah, how we doing on this? A little bit of meat, but nothing amazing. Show me your wares, give me the sketches. Stone Shadow, Uncursed, Magic Map, Fire Touch, More to Go Around, Map, and then I'm looking for the Furniture Shopkeeper. Statue of Royal Rock. So it's Royal category. This is new. I've never seen this before. Alright. A roof. A cracked ass vase. No thanks. Balloon. Fire extinguishers. Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen that. Alright. Yeah, this thing weighs a fuck ton. Oh, it's just a normal ass. Amazing. Sell that. How big is the rock monument? What even is this supposed to be? Who knows? I will store it for now. Filmara, I have more paintings for you. Where is your bitch ass? I have so many people. Where are you? Oh, you're right there. Okay. I gave him all of them, right? Yeah. I'm trying to get Filmara paintings with the best modifiers possible, and money is not an option. I mean, money is not a... I meant to say money is not a... problem? I don't fucking know. Brain fart. Quick craft. I use my imagination a lot, though, with this game. And... Alright, how you guys doing? You got food. You got food. You got food. You got food. Oh, you don't have food because I don't really care too much about you. You got food. Okay, Ine. I'm gonna solve your problem. Here. I really don't care, just take all of these. I'm done dungeon diving for a while, I think. I'm gonna start trying to focus on setting some stuff up that I've been meaning to set up. I'm looking for Cloudy Meadows. So when is this ready to be fucking collected? Like, holy shit. Do I have to turn off delegated farming? Is that what it is? Does that allow me to? No? No? Then what the fuck? Feels like it's like a tight window, I guess? I don't know. Let's just do this. How much electricity? No, this is fine. This is fine. I don't need it to have more than... Yeah, I don't need it to have... It uses like 50, I think. I don't need it to have more than 100 slots. We're just gonna put all my bait in there. And... a particular thing, though. I mentioned, like, the ability for, like, triple wielding or whatever. This game ran on a very extensive thing, a system of abilities. If your active job and race would give you a lot of, your active job and race would give you a lot of passives, but your main source of passives came from your abilities. And these abilities are spread through 5 categories. Offense, defense, magic, job, and special. I forget if there was another category for skill-based abilities or not, but at the very least it was these 5 categories. So you had offensive abilities, defensive abilities, magic-based abilities. Job abilities were job and special were very specific categories. Special was usually for stuff that just didn't have much of a place elsewhere. Job was for that. There were a lot of job-based stuff, things, oracle skills, item user skills, mercantile skills. Mercantile was, I will admit, one of my favorite classes because you could do so much fun shit with that. And it became pretty fucking powerful by the end of the game too, thanks to a specific skill. As long as you could continue funding it. Anyway, point is, you had a lot of abilities, and you had a max amount of points across in each category for these abilities, based on what your active job class was. Higher tiers of job classes and certain special ones, even within certain tiers, would give even more points. But there was one other thing that also gave points, and that was some higher tier races and jobs would give you a special skill, a special ability you could equip that was either 1 or 0 cost. That would have the effect of increases the amount. Oh no, now I remember what it was. It was masteries. It was masteries, and you would I think you would start to see this with the second highest tier and the highest tier of jobs and races. You would unlock a mastery ability at the final level that gave you some really good, insanely good buffs. But it would also give you, like, it increases, like, such and such. For example, increases your offense and defense skill cap by 15 points. Just as a example of what you could get. And there was no limit to the masteries you could equip, so quite literally, like I said, with my main character, I ended up becoming so fucking powerful and having so many abilities that it was insane, like into the hundreds of ability point caps. It's a game very, very much designed for you to play around with. I guess to give an idea, the simplest idea, the document isn't finished. It's just my rambling thought. I don't know when I could ever say it's finished. But I got to a certain point in the document, finished compressing the anime I was compressing, and I was doing something else, sent the document to a friend. I'm like, hey, rate my autism. I want you to see what I want to see what you think. And I think he responded to me, and by now you already have the idea too. He responded to me, it's really rambly at points. I'm like, yeah, I do ramble a lot. But he said it better than I think I ever could. He said, I understand what you want, though. You want a set of tools and, like, a set of toys and the ability to just use them freely to the limits of your imagination. And while MGQP is basically just an RPG, I don't mean to insult it when I say it's just an RPG Maker game, meaning you got to use your imagination for a lot of it. It gives you a lot of tools to play around with for your imagination. It got to the point where I made up an entire little fanfic tier, like, headcanon about this shit with the main character and a bunch of other characters that became, like, his strongest generals. I would very specifically give characters only masteries in certain jobs and races, but not all of them. Oh wait, I didn't mean maximum. And the ability to mix and match your stuff. Another example is there's a character you can recruit that I'm not going to even talk about. You know, give any hints about who this character is. That is very much focused on multiple on racial skills. You got your magic skills, your weapon skills, your job skills. You also have racial skills. You know, beast skills, harpy skills, stuff like that. Alright, improved the recipe of bait. However useless that is. Oh shit. It's one against experience. What did he even do? Who knows? Probably just from the food. I'm gonna go grab the rest of my turtle sashimis. Alright, how much do we have left to work with? Because I'm going to keep going until I have it all turned into fucking bait. My crafting skill increases yet again. How much fertilizer do we have in here? A somewhat nice amount. Where was I? So, it gives you a lot of tools to play around with, though, and I like that. And you have Ellen. Oh, no, yeah, like, the racial thing, the beast. It was a character that was focused on, like, multiple races, and so I set her up with, a bunch of different stuff that basically made it so she could act, multiple times in, like, one turn, as long as she used racial skills in general. With a focus on a few different specific races, so she could just get off several attacks in one turn, making her entirely focused on that. And it fit her character, without saying anything about her character. It fit her character to be a race, like a multi-race focused thing. Cloudy Meadows. Is it? No, it's still not. This is the weirdest shit. I'm trying to, like, actually boost my, rice. My rice quality is the thing. But then there's Ellen. And as you can see, Ellen has a lot of interesting stuff about it. A lot of interesting things about it. I do have a few gripes with Ellen. In fact, I'm gonna show one of those off in a minute here. The thing is, it's still a work in progress. And yet, despite these gripes, I would say Ellen is probably the game that fits almost exactly what I want. I think my one issue is I'm not sure how I feel about the perspective. Real quick. So, but this is, for example, a big thing. So I do have a lot of stuff here that is that I shouldn't. And I don't mean these. I mean like rosewood, willow, fucking water. You can technically get material hammers in this game, which convert an item's material to something else. And almost any material that exists in the game's systems. You cannot legitimately obtain a bunch that are like water, fresh water. I think there's like I think I still have like tropical water, fresh water, seawater, ash. I don't think ash material hammer exists, or this. That you can get legit. Fresh cream, bamboo. I got these just because. Actually, wait a minute. Is the fresh cream one... I don't think that goes bad, yeah. And these ones over here specifically, topaz, aquamarine, sapphire, meteorite, jade, those don't have hammers you can obtain legitimately, but you can through console. So, I need to explain a few things. It all started with this one. Raw food. For a very specific reason. So you do this, you can infinitely dig it, you get chunks of raw food, they are made of raw food. You can put that in here to make fertilizer. You hammer fertilizer into corpses, you turn corpses into bait, infinite fishing. The original idea before somebody in the community that I was talking with, because I started out like a lot of others doing the fishing method. And I will say it kind of sucks that is the best, de facto, the best or one of the best methods in the game. The best one early on, in fact. For making money. If not one of the best. But point is, the original way this went was you would go out and you would get flowers. You would pick as many flowers as you could. Flowers did go bad, and you would put them, as many of them as possible. But what you would do is, because they were made of raw food, what you could do was you could turn flowers into something else, and I don't remember. Arrows. You could make, in fact, I think it was through this, wasn't it? Through quick crafting, you could make makeshift arrows. You would make it using one of the ingredients you could use was flowers. So you make makeshift arrows that would be made out of raw food that would go bad. You put them in the compost bin, you turn them into fertilizer, again, hammer that to corpses, make that into bait. Well, this method was a bit tedious, but it worked. And then I saw a guy talking about, oh no, I found another way. I found an actual bug. Not part of the tools you're meant to use. An actual bug that you could exploit. And he explains that as long as you only have one piece of soil in your inventory, and I mean one, like if you have it set so you're also using whatever's in your base, and your storage containers, it won't work. You need to what I ended up doing was I have a tent. I used a tent. I set a tent up in just the front yard of my little castle here, and I would go in with my flooring workshop and my my material hammer and one piece of soil. And the idea, he said, was have one piece of soil, uh, go into the thing, you go into the menu to make the soil floor, back out, use a material hammer on the soil, and then go back in and you can still make the soil floor using it, and it will be made out of that material. And he did this with a raw food material hammer. So he could make a single patch of soil that you can till with that you can till with the hoe, like I did, and you can dig it infinitely for raw food chunks that you can gather quickly, put into the compost bin, and make shit tons of fertilizer, and you can have infinite bait at home for fishing. Admittedly, I have not actually been using it lately. The 5,000 fertilizer I've built up has quite literally just been from throwing virtually anything over my various play sessions. They've become less common than they used to be when I started playing. But over my various play sessions, I would just, if I got meat I didn't want to use because it was tainted or was cat meat or was human flesh, the massive amount of shit that of literal shit that piles up in Vernus, for example, because of my massive amount of snow poodits. I just take stuff like that, gather it all, come here, put it in the compost bin, boom. And I've just been doing that over my play sessions, and it resulted in gradually accumulating 5,000 fucking compost. I have not actually been fishing for a while. For a good couple or so in-game years. Instead focusing on other things. But eventually this got patched, the soil floor thing. He couldn't remove them, not without fucking with the game's systems to a significant degree. But he could fix the bug so you couldn't do it anymore. I said, fuck that. I have some of my games not updating. Doesn't auto-update. I'm going to not update the game until I have everything. And I didn't cheat this shit. I went on a journey. There's, anyone in the Discord community for Ellen actually probably saw me talk about it almost daily, documenting my journey and showing the screenshots off. I went for fucking everything. Obsidian. I would save scum going to dungeons just to get the raw food I want. Raw food, just to get the material hammers I wanted. You got crystal, cotton, oak, jelly, straw, raw food, obsidian, bone, silver, grass, diamond, rose quartz, iron, rubinus, spirit cloth, paper, coral, scale, plastic, silk, bronze, chromite, yada yada. Why would I go through all this trouble? Well, soil has a lot of uses, has some uses. In particular, soil is really useful for making bricks. And you can make bricks out of different materials to make it different colors. You cannot dye bricks, last I checked. If that was changed in an update, then I'm not aware of it. But this meant you could make bricks out of any material you wanted. If there's any other applications for the soil, I actually don't remember off the top of my head. The idea was for it to be there, for it to be accessible, and that got taken away. If you didn't do it before the update that fixed the bug, or didn't just mod it so that you had that shit yourself anyway, you would be fucked out of. Admittedly, it wasn't an intended mechanic, but something that was existing in the game. That existed in the game's mechanics, and the dev took that away. I'm not going to give the dev shit for that. It's it is Noah's game. He can do it how he wants. But it's finding... It's the fact that the community finds its ways. Finds ways around shit. Finds these exploits or ways to abuse the system. And there's ways that, by all intents and purposes, that aren't patched. And I'm glad for that, because by all intents and purposes, they're part of the game's actual intended mechanics. Here's an example. Paper ingots. Just bear with me. If you get good enough at disarming traps in dungeons, you might come across strange materials you normally wouldn't acquire, such as ingots made of paper. Ingots made of paper are really useful. In fact, you've been looking at why. So this igloo is made of paper. Igloos and tents, if you use a material hammer on them, their weight scales. The idea is it weighs as much as what's inside of it, on top of its existing weight. Now, the existing weight is usually 1 pound. Everything is called like stones in this, but I'm assuming that's what the S means. I don't particularly care. I just say pound. Fuck it. These weigh 1 pound. They weigh 1 pound usually. I believe. Igloos made of snow. Tents are usually by default made of, I forget, like hemp, hide. I don't remember. But the material makes it, the default material usually makes it weigh 1 pound. So it will weigh exactly as much if I have the mechanic right. It'll weigh exactly as much as what's inside of it. If you change this in any way, and I pray to God no one never changes how this works, or I'm fucked. If you change this in any way, say make it out of a heavier material or a lighter material, the scaling reacts accordingly. So yes, it is possible to make it so that the tent weighs more than what's inside of it because of that, I believe. But the opposite is also true. And lightest material pretty much you can make something is paper. So you use a paper material hammer on it, and it becomes, in the words of Seth Zintok in his video on this, a portable pocket dimension. But you can go farther if you truly want to. And I did. See, it's based on the weight of what's inside of it as well. So, of course, once I made the igloo paper, I started making almost everything paper. In fact, let's give a quick rundown. Everything here, if it's a precious item, you cannot change its material, by the way. That's fine. Just about everything here that isn't paper is already lightweight, and I haven't bothered to lessen it. I would also like to say, it really doesn't matter, or it's made of a material I like. That fan's made of actual magma. I only found it recently, and I've never seen an item made of magma. I think that's a new material added in the game recently. I don't remember, or I've just not been lucky enough to actually see it. That chessboard's made of crystal or something. I have cards made of gold. Yeah. Sandals over here made of, I think it's like rose quartz, amethyst, and emerald. Usually the junk gacha gives you some very interesting things. Chilled drink weighs 1.1 pound. Oh no. Here's the thing. All this weighs, when I'm outside this, everything weighs 1/10 of what it actually weighs in here, in my inventory, in the igloo. So that chilled drink, even though it's not made of paper, oh, it fucking weighs like a tenth of a pound. Oh boy. In fact, most of the weight, the 40 pounds, I think comes from all the fucking food I have here. Everything is made of either paper or it's light enough that I don't care. The BBQ table, the big fridge, the computer, the TV, and the air conditioner I made with paper ingots. I also made a really amazing futon. Actually, I'm curious. How much does that futon weigh? Yeah, the futon is gold, I think. Let me see. It is made of gold. It's one of the few things I have chosen not to fuck with. Because I like it. And I made an equally as good hammock. That weighs like 0.1 pounds. Yeah, the TV, the air conditioner, I made out of paper ingots. What about what you can't? You cannot actually craft a TV table, a kotatsu, or a fucking patch slot machine. I found paper material hammers and used them on them, is what I fucking did. Some of these were just casually while adventuring, and I'm like, you know what? Fuck it. We're taking this back and we're using it on this. Through the Gold Knight, I've developed the means to just take shrines with me out of the dungeon. Using a paper tent. I forget if I made that paper as well, but I know you can't craft this thing. The paintings are made of paper or made of, like, basic material that's very light. I think I also went to the Akapa merchant for stickers that lessen the weight. Let me see. Yeah, you can get Akapa stickers that give you level 2 light, and on anything you put the sticker on. Oh wait, hang on. I wanted to use the alternate version. Yeah. So yeah, this is a perfect little home. But going back to those paper ingots, those are rare. Really rare. I had to start save scumming disarming traps to get them. But there's a way around this. See, when you duplicate things at your resident alchemist, who might have restocked, I don't know. Where is he in the sea of people? Oh, he hasn't restocked yet. 4 days. When you register items at your resident alchemist, any duplicates you get, if you disassemble them with the hammer, return alchemical ash. However, if you craft something using these items, that is no longer the case. So what you do is you make a pipe. You make a pipe out of paper ingots. But you don't stop there. You take this paper ingot pipe, which is worth jack and shit, and is technically made by you, so you can duplicate it. Real quick, the less an item, the less or more an item is worth, determines how many a month Kettle sells in each item slot. So if you give him something worth a lot, he sells less of it. If you give him something worth jack shit, he sells a lot of it. This is actually another thing the fan has learned how to abuse, but we'll talk about that later. What you do is you take these you take the paper pipe, you duplicate it at Kettle, and you use the paper pipe. What is this? Oh, it's just a pouch. you use the paper pipe to make a bird cage. Use 4. And now you need rubber ducks, but those are not too hard to acquire. You don't have unlimited resources, therefore, but you have a free enough amount. You make the cages using the duplicated pipes, then you hammer them to get pipes back. Hammer the pipes to get ingots back. Boom. Free homegrown paper ingots. This is very useful because some of those items need quite a few of them, and you can't duplicate anything made using any of the big 3 crystals, earth, sun, or mana, and big fridges are used with made with mana crystals, so you can't duplicate them. Even if it's made by you. But this is a nice little workaround, so you don't have to go running around trying to constantly... So you don't have to run around trying to constantly fucking deal with this. Looting traps with RNG and stuff. There's other stuff. One interesting thing I found that I haven't tried yet, but you'll notice if you saw me go in here, these hammers. The raw food hammer is just for decoration. The other 3 are hemp hammers. Hemp has a very particular... actually, maybe I can show it if it retains the effect. Where is... Ah, shit, really? Wait, hold on, where's the hemp? Oh, I think it's way up here. Okay, straw doesn't. That's weird. I thought straw had a prefix. Hemp has a very nice prefix. The boring prefix minus level minus 2 to the price. The reason this is useful is if you, and it's something I'm kind of trying to lead up towards. For example, let's go in here to show this. You make a burger. Burgers can be made with optional stuff. You can use meat, you can use fish or meat. You can use seasoning or cheese for this particular ingredient, and then you can use cheese again. If I remember correctly, soy sauce by default. Oh no, it's if you have Fabled or Legendary making it, I think. So you could use some good bonito or soy sauce from a lively fish, or you could use cheese, which you can turn meat into. So let's say I wanted to make a burger for strength, and purely strength. Well, what I would do is I would get some dough that gives strength. I would get dragon meat for here, dragon meat cheese, and then whatever else are extra. Or something else instead for, say, the soy sauce. What I would do then is I would make the soy sauce, use a hemp hammer on it to make it hemp. Use the soy sauce here, that or just do the dragon meat. Whatever the case. You can do at least 2 layers. Because it scales vertically, not horizontally. You can't just make everything hemp and have it stack. Unfortunately. Otherwise everyone would be doing it. So you make one ingredient that goes into this hemp. You make the burger itself hemp afterwards, and it's -4 price level. I'm trying to... I want to see if you can do a third level to it. If you can turn the fish you make into the sauce hemp, or if you, or whatever. You can't sadly do it for the cheese, because you need it to be raw food, I believe, so it will actually turn into cheese on the rack. But that's a good example of something you can do. And if the item has lower price, that means Kettle will sell more of the item every month. To give a good idea of things. Oh, hey, we're almost done. Nice. My cattle gaining experience means that eventually they'll be giving me +1 gold fiber. Oh yeah, I almost forgot. I probably fucked something up, unfortunately, and now I need to go check. Undermount. Please tell me they haven't wilted. They have not wilted, okay. I guess mushrooms don't wilt? Yes! Charisma boosting +20 mushrooms, baby! I am using this for, Real quick, I am using this for, I'm using Undermount for mushrooms. Undermount, it's the cave. It's one of 2 default locations you can have starting the game. In this cave, and I picked the meadow as the default, but the cave is interesting in that it does not have any natural light and is never affected by outside weather. Which means it's perfect for mushrooms. I've seen people set the cave up entirely to be one massive mushroom farm. I wanted to do something else, but you can get the fertility up by upgrading the soil level. I'll probably... I wanted this to be a monster town, so it's not going to be full of farmers that give it over 1,000 fertility for shit tons of mushrooms, but I think it's fine as is. I mainly did this anyway for, Oh, you cannot hammer the banana peel? Well, it's made of ether, fuck it. I guess I have an ether banana peel now. You cannot, so I won't be turning this into one giant mushroom farm, but it's mostly so I can gradually level up my farming skill anyway. Over time, while pursuing lots of mushrooms for extra stuff on food. Nice, plant 0. We've hit 5,000 bait. We've hit 5,000 bait. I'm probably going to avoid dungeon diving for a while. Actually, I should probably store these maps. Yeah, I got room for this. I'm going to store the maps. You know what? Fuck this. I'm gonna waste one of my I'm gonna waste one of my identifies. Oh, this is kind of dog. This is ass. This is ass. Okay. Sell it. Okay. A lot of what I'm doing at this point is just getting stuff set up. Whether it's for fishing or other stuff. A lot of it's to get food set up. Like I said, the hemp hammers are there because I do eventually want to use them for trying to make an ideal piece of food that I can duplicate at Kettle and give to my en masse and give to my guys or girls. A lot of what I'm doing is just gene engineering, and like you saw, I do kind of just say fuck it when it comes to the love potions and the gene potions. I just spawn those in. After dabbling a bit in gene engineering, I've decided it is there are people playing this game that are way more autistic about it than I am. Way more. Who actually, is it time to shear my boys? They're way more artistic about it than I am. There are people that have... I'm going to give an example. There are people playing this game that have very specifically made entire farms like I have, but instead of farmers, they recruit drug dealers, change their hobby and job to farming, right? So so it's no different from having a legion of farmers to boost the fertility of your land, but then they have a legion of drug dealers to go through every few days for love potions. There are people that do shit like that, and I'm good. I don't use mods in my game. I'm judging this game entirely on its own merits, right here. But the whip system is really ass. You can use whips to change their to have disposable charges to change their job and their hobby to a random one out of the whole fucking list. And it's such a pain in the ass. And I've seen people go, well, there's mods. There's a mod that lets you choose what you change. That's great. I'm eventually going to use it, but right now I'm judging the game based on its merits. And the fact that it's randomized for an item that you buy from a single NPC, you can only, I think, buy one of them from this NPC every restock. It's genuinely kind of ass. Unless she sells more if you increase her shop level. I don't know. I haven't. But, yeah. Like, so maybe some of my gripes are unfounded. I'm willing to accept, based on misunderstandings or assumptions, I'm willing to accept that. But there are some just accessibility parts that are pure ass. Some parts of this game's accessibility that's pure ass. Like the de facto best way. Like I said, this game is probably one of the closest, or if not one of the closest, if not the closest, a game has come to fitting my criteria. And yet it does fall flat in some aspects. Here's an example. Undermount, the cave place, I had an idea for the longest time. Ever since I found this place, I thought, I'm turning this into a monster town and something of a, not necessarily a red light district, per se, because that's what I want to turn a snow, make using a snow village. But, Undermount, I wanted to turn into just a monster town with a lot of fun leisure stuff. I went through a lot of trouble for this. I went through a lot of trouble to make this place. And the idea I had was this would be a tourism town. This is still a bit of a work in progress. I have all of the memorial blocks here. This is intended to be like a tourist town. Now here's the thing. Alright? Tourism fucking sucks in LA. The amount of money you make through tourism is ass. Where do you see it, actually? I know there's a way to see it. My tourism value is through the fucking roof. And I'm still working on shit. Your tourism value is determined by multiple factors. There's publicity. There's let me see here. Public safety. What am I looking for exactly? Tourist protection, border watch, and demon invocation. So demon invocation affects the level of... it doesn't just do this, it affects the level of your tourists and can bring in more high-value tourists. I basically am trying to get to the point where I have nothing but rich fuckers here. Tourist protection and border watch helps with that. Now, we have a problem here. You can't have everything. You cannot have everything with your admin points. I was trying to use stuff like Celebrities Heaven, increased number of wealthy visitors, increased tourism revenue from wealthy visitors, luxury suite, overcharge the wealthy for bed accommodation, and I had amazing beds. Travelers Inn include bed quality and lodging fee. I had amazing beds, duplicates of an Uber bed I basically made for my own main base, and so I could just fit everyone in bases like Bridgetown, my fishing village, or my eventual fishing village, or my farms into it, because the bed also affects the person, stuff like farmers' abilities, the bed quality, their skill as a farmer. It turns out a lot of this shit is kind of useless, and even with everything active for milking the rich as much as possible for tourism, you make ass amounts of money. You make nothing compared to what you make doing a lot of other things in this game. For the amount of effort you put in and the amount of time you have that you wait, you'll wait like a whole in-game. You can wait a whole in-game month, come back, and be like, oh, you made 10,000 on tourism revenue, maybe. It's like, bro, I could make that much in a few days. So instead, I was told what you do is you get the general store license, the furniture store license, open for business. That's just a lot of people. And premium store, but not rip-off, and fence license, because why not? Premium store raises the prices of tags good at the cost of decreased purchasing power, but with higher level people coming in, it doesn't matter. And this apparently has the same effect, roughly, as this. if not eventually better. I don't know. Solo exhibition is just for, actually, I'm kind of curious. So, we have 1,221,456. Turn that off. Holy shit, that is a huge difference. So yeah, I, quite flatly, it bothers me that tourism is so ass when I wanted, and the thing is, that didn't deter me. I still wanted to make this a big fucking tourism town, just because I wanted to make it the way I wanted to make it. And so far, and it's still not done, I still have plans for this, but so far, I'm loving the way it's shaping up. But the fact that this means I basically just have a personal pet project just for fun, and not something that will actually sincerely help me make money. Yeah. Instead, the option is to use these stands to sell goods. This is because if you put the ticket in here, they might buy the stand itself once it's empty, but they won't buy garbage. So, oh yeah, and this is, of course, where I put all my gold statues, because I got big into gold statues. Each individual gold statue of a different enemy counts. You could technically go higher by making higher quality statues out of, say, diamond. I'm not going to bother with that shit. Fuck that. But my point is, it's apparently way more feasible to just sell shit with jacked up store prices. And you know what? Holy shit, that actually worked. Without me dying. Cool. It's the leap, my child. So, this resulted in another trick. Foreign doors. No, I'm not joking. Let's go ahead and put these in here. Also, let's go ahead and, where did I put it? Yeah. We're gonna go ahead and put oh wait, no, not those, not those. Oh yeah, I also started cheating in old tickets and medals, because I really fucking hated the process of getting them. This is, of course, before the update that allowed you to buy, a more recent update allows you to spend influence in Little Garden from finding the Little Sisters, to buy small medals and old tickets, which is very nice, because getting them is a pain in the ass, pretty much. Alright, we've done this. Now what? Oh yeah, I was gonna do something. Oh yeah, foreign doors. Where do you make those again? Carpenter's table. Right here. Oh. You learn how to make a sling. The hell? Oh, okay, it's probably like a weapon. So you got foreign doors. This is probably the highest recipe level I have. Yeah. So you make them out of texture, you make them out of planks. So I make them out of the best planks I have, which are... not these. I have a level 8 item quality. But this results in a level 5 price, level 7 price, because these have... because this has creepy cute, level 7 price. This has super rare. I believe you can make it out of gold texture. This, what is this even made out of? It's made of silk, but it has some other bullshit involved. I actually don't remember. And I think you can make... the max is 12, I guess, for quality. Level 7 price, level 5 price. Well, whatever the case, level 7 price, level 5 price, copy fee. You can make it, you can make these. From what I can tell, you can't get it to go beyond level 7 price. I don't know. I've gotten level 8 item quality Polulu wood and level 7 price planks. I've gotten Polulu... Yeah, this is the highest grade of Polulu seed I got. And I'm trying to get it to, like, plus 90, which I think is possible with my current farming. Anyway. Yeah, I'm gonna need, like... Yeah, let's just start with that. Nice. I almost forgot about something. Okay, so Beach 1, Landwood Mini Fish, more commercial power, fishing spot, and geysers just for the hell of it. This is one of the most ideal fishing spots you could get. Also, it's on the bridge next to... I forget the name, Lumiest? Where the Mages Guild is, so I'm pretty good. I like having my network give me close access to all the various towns. Like I said, this game, like I've already said multiple times, this game fits what I want a lot. I think to really drive it home, I'll leave that there for now and come back. To really drive it home, the wording I think I used was something along the lines of, I want to go on my adventures killing dragons and epic monsters and then come back and see what's going on with my see what's going on with the casino or restaurant I built that I'm dealing with, that I'm entirely hands-off with for the most part. You know, come back to town and see how my businesses are doing after going on epic adventures, shit like that. Like my friend said to me, a set of toys and the full freedom to play with them. Outside of the one instance of fixing the bug, which I already worked around anyway by just not updating my game, and so I'm not complaining, really, the developer hasn't really done anything to fuck with people's enjoyment of the game, and their ability to just play with the mechanics. And I appreciate that. I greatly appreciate that. I'll continue this later, but for now, I think I'm done, and I'm just gonna be rambling and repeating myself. But there are a few more games I want to mention.